All right, we're live. Welcome to the Alien Invasion number 228, recorded on Thursday, September 7th, 2017. I'm Dave Nelson, along with Mr. Brad Ludwig. Hello, Brad.
Hello.
You want to know what's coming up on this episode?
Yeah?
Pop culture aliens ranked from most to least helpful. And are we turning Earth into an alien planet? Do you have the answer for that?
I think I might.
Okay. Those stories plus our sighting and picks. Before all that, though, our question. All right. Here we go with the question. Stand by. Hold on to your butts. Or whatever body part you want to hold on to. That's
fair enough.
Your choice. All right. What alien race from fiction, I'm talking movies, TV shows, books, games, whatever, would you want to have a beer with? Or a mixed drink, or, some kind of cocktail, or if you don't drink, a lemonade or an iced tea. I'm having an iced tea. I'm having a nice iced tea. So you go into a bar or someplace that serves, get together kind of drinks. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And there's you have a choice. One alien race. Who would you want to join? Who would you want to join with you there? Words.
With the thing and the guy. If I were to have, you're saying if I were to have a beverage with any alien, a representative from any alien race, with whom would it be?
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh, boy. Trying to think. Who would it be? If I'm kind of thinking a representative of the Q continuum.
Oh yeah, because things might get crazy, and you guys could do weird, like amazing things with their powers.
That's what I'm thinking.
What if you piss him or her off, and they decide to use their powers against you, like fling you across the galaxy, and you accidentally discover a race that wants to kill you? Oh, wait a second.
I think that's been done, and
you'll take
I don't think I would worry about it. Hopefully, I've consumed enough beverages that I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, so my answer at first was going to be the Klingons, but they drink that blood wine and they get violent.
Yeah.
They get very.
You don't want to hang out with a mean drunk, Dave.
No, and they seem like they're that whole race. They're a bunch of mean drunks. So I'm going to give an answer, a very specific answer that kind of goes outside the purview of the original thought for this question. But I think I'd want to have a drink at Quark's on Deep Space Nine with Morn.
Huh.
Do you remember Morn? Big guy. No. Didn't speak. He was basically, the inside joke was he was Norm from Cheers, but with the letters changed.
Fair enough.
Norm Morn. He was always at the bar. Even when Quark was opening the bar, he was the first one at the door, and he never spoke. So that's cool with me, because I'm not a big talker. Well, I mean, I talk for a living and I talk on these podcasts, but I'm happy just sitting someplace and observing my surroundings, taking in the atmosphere, and I don't need to talk. But I think he talks. We just never heard him. And when he did talk, this is just thinking out loud, this is my guess or my wish, he would say amazing things when he does talk.
That is interesting.
So,
And he actually perishes in an episode, doesn't he?
I don't think so.
Supposedly.
He supposedly. Oh, he does. But he's not really dead. They use his
Oh.
death to like try to solve a crime of some kind, I think. I think that's how.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go. Who mourns mourn.
That's the name of the episode. Exactly. Okay. So that's my answer. What's your answer? I'm not talking to you, Brad. I'm talking to the listener. What's your answer? Who would you want to have a drink with? Let us know. 613. No, that's the 805-328-3966 is the number. I almost gave the studio line number.
Whoops.
All right. That's good enough. I say that number a lot. It's stuck in my head.
I don't doubt it.
All right, here we go. In the news. In the news. Wait.
In the news.
Okay. Here we go. This is kind of a throwback to the kind of stories that we used to bring to this show once in a while. And it's been a couple years, I think, since we had a similar subject or similar story to this kind of thing. In honor of the Close Encounters of the Third Kind 40th anniversary, let that sink in.
Wow.
Entertainment Weekly compared that alien race with others. Okay? Pop culture aliens ranked from most to least helpful. Okay? You ready for this?
Okay.
Now, before I get into this, before I read off the ones that they came up with, Brad, did you read the article? Did you read what I had written down on the doc?
I did.
Okay. So you know what I'm okay. I was gonna say make a guess, but do you agree with this list, or would there be ones on this which would be more helpful or even less helpful than the ones that they have?
You know,
I'm kind of doing this in reverse, so maybe I should.
no, looking at this list, I think that this is a solid list.
Okay.
I think of the two that are of the most helpful and the two of the least, I think it's pretty spot on.
Okay. All right. Well, let's jump in here. The most helpful is the aliens from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. All right. They're happy to help us, and this is what ET wrote on their blog on this blog post. For most of Close Encounters, the aliens are a mystery. What are those lights in the sky? Why did so many people go missing? But after much theorizing and translating human language into light arrays, the humans and aliens come to an understanding. All the kidnapped people are released, and in turn, humans get to visit the alien mothership in what looks like the beginning of a beautiful friendship. You know what? I always wanted to know what happened to the people that went with the aliens at the end. Spoiler alert of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I think you get a free pass on that because it's been a very long time.
You know, I actually remember reading this. E.T., the extraterrestrial, was supposed to be, I think, a sequel to Close Encounters, but he didn't want to make a sequel, so he made a completely new alien movie. I believe that's how that went. So I don't think we'll ever know what happened to Richard Dreyfuss. We can make guesses.
We can.
Yeah. He's in some okay, here's my guess. The aliens didn't turn out to be as nice as they let on. They were actually very cruel, and they put Richard Dreyfuss in a zoo, and in return for his letting, in return, so they wouldn't kill him, Richard Dreyfuss would make mountains out of mashed potatoes every day.
Okay.
I'm just theorizing. That's just me spitballing. I could be wrong about that. Okay.
Maybe they have a thing for mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Okay, here's the second on the helpful side. Trying to help us the day the earth stood still. Okay. Despite our sole stewardship of the planet Earth, humans often seem to screw things up for ourselves. No crap. At two different points over the past century, when we threatened to screw up particularly badly situations, a version of the day the Earth stood still has come out, featuring the alien Klaatu, coming to warn humans to change our ways. Although Klaatu wants us to change our behavior, it's a warning for our own sakes. If we refuse, he'll just have his giant robot incinerate us. It seemed like the remake was very much over the top version of the original. Like they did everything twice as big in it. Did you like the remake?
I have never seen the remake, and I do want to see it.
It's not that bad. It's a little slow at times, and it's not. It's missing a certain spark, but it's still pretty good. Keanu Reeves, you can only do so much with that guy, right?
Fair enough.
Okay, so we're going to the least helpful side of this. Okay, will help us taste better to serve man. The aliens from this iconic episode of The Twilight Zone are certainly tricky. These Kanamits, Kanamits, sure seem like they want to help humans, even giving them a special book titled To Serve Man. Of course, what the humans realize too late is that these aliens are well aware of the double meaning of the word serve, leading to that famous shout from Susan Cummings, Codebreaker.
It's a cookbook.
I haven't seen that for a long time. I'll have to revisit that episode.
Oh boy, yeah, it's one of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes.
It's such an iconic, like when you think of the Twilight Zone, that's one of the ones that you think of, right?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Last but not least, just want to kill us. Alien. From Alien. The other aliens on this list are mostly humanoid. They may be more evolved than humans, but at least they think, act, and move in similar ways. Not the xenomorphs. What gives the Alien franchise its power is that the creatures are truly foreign from humanity. They don't just have big foreheads and have rows of teeth, slithering tails, and an obvious desire to kill us in the most gruesome way possible. Considering how few humans have survived encounters with these aliens, it's safe to rank them as one of the least helpful species humans have ever encountered in any medium. And I think we can all agree that the xenomorphs are the worst and the least helpful of all extraterrestrial races.
You're not wrong.
All right. Is there any, like, if you had an also rand, if you had like on the more helpful and least helpful scale, what is one other race for each of those you would add to this list?
In the list, it's either helpful or not helpful, and I think I would put in, going back to my original answer, putting in the Star Trek Q as kind of being, it could go either way.
Yeah, because they showed a little bit of both the Qs, right? They did nasty stuff, but at the same time, they did pretty awesome stuff too.
Yeah. And it really kind of depended on their sense of what they deem as morality.
Mhm.
or whatever whim they had.
And they kind of showed that in the episode where the human girl turns out to be a Q. She didn't know she was a Q.
Yeah, I was going to mention that's the Olivia Dabo episode.
Yeah. That was good. That was a good episode. So you want a middle area. You want a
Yeah, a shade of gray would
okay.
not be bad here.
All right. Sweet. What else? Do you know anything else that she went on to do? That actress?
Oh God.
A few things, right?
Well, she was the older sister in the Wonder Years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She was in Living Daylights with the James Bond movie with Timothy Dalton. She's done a lot of voice work for cartoons, for animated properties.
All right.
So she's still working.
Brad Ludwig, a walking, talking IMDb.
Well, I don't know about that, but I know about Olivia Dabo.
You're a Stalker fan.
Dear Stalker Diary.
Hi.
Today, Olivia Dabo made an appearance on a panel.
We'll end that right there. Good place to stop. All right. It's time to shoot the shit.
Pew pew.
All right. By the way, Growly Bear is in the YouTube chat. And Growly Bear says, lucky Brad emphasized the ooh or oh in cookbook, or may have been a totally different book.
Cookbook.
I don't know what that means.
Kook. I'm a kook.
Oh, okay. And he says, I thought that was her sister, Miriam Diabo, in James Bond.
I'm on her official website. Let's see.
Yeah.
No, he's absolutely right.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank God for Growly Bear. All right. Let's do this thing. Let's shoot the breeze.
I think we have to have a correction.
Okay. All right. We'll put this in post. Growly Bear in chat says that's her sister who was in the James Bond film.
Yes, that would be Miriam Dabo. So
okay.
They look similar.
Yep. Thank you, Growly Bear. I don't know what we'd do without you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll put that in post. Thanks, man. That was good. All right. So it's been like a month since we last convened here for an episode of the Alien Invasion. I've been very busy. I worked like 33, 34 days in a row. So the last thing that I really wanted to do is one more thing. And that thing was record episodes of the Alien Invasion. So now that I'm back to a somewhat normal schedule, we can get these episodes out. But what have you been doing in the last month, Brad?
Well, a lot of wedding stuff within the last month.
I see that from Facebook.
Yeah, let's see. We have got the venue locked down, and we paid the like 50%. We've got our the church paid for, ready to go. Anessa already has her dress.
Oh, you guys are just knocking it out of the park.
She has her shoes. Here's the thing, and a lot of people say that Anessa's mother lives in Texas, so very far away from where we're at, and she like picks a thing to obsess over and calls Anessa every day about the thing that she's obsessing over. So to make that stop, you make your choice and you do the thing, and then you move on to the next thing to obsess over. So we've got so many things either done or in process that I have a feeling that we'll be able to wrap up the vast majority of our planning and have everything like in line and mostly ready to go by the end of the year.
So you guys will have you'll be able to relax in the final few months before the actual wedding itself.
Possibly. We'll see how that goes.
Any more progress on the Doctor Who themed stuff? Have you figured out anything else when it comes to that?
Yes, actually. Oh, and I'm excited about this. Hang on just a second. I will be just a moment.
All right. We'll cut this part out in post-production. Make it sound like he just happens to have the thing that he's going to show us momentarily here when Brad Ludwig returns to the Nerdatorium to show off whatever he's going to show off.
Okay.
All right.
So this is going to be for YouTube viewers. Now, if I were to show you this, Dave Nelson, you are looking at this right now.
Yes, I don't know what that is.
And you were to say, make this blue and semi-translucent, would you know what this could possibly be?
Would it be part of the sonic screwdriver?
It would not.
Okay.
Another guess is it was in possession of the Third Doctor.
Oh.
And we see it glimpsed briefly with, I believe, this past season with Peter Capaldi's Doctor.
Oh, I don't know anything about the thing that you're referring to.
This is, well, it's a 3D printed version that needs an adjustment because it's not quite symmetrical. The Third Doctor originally had this. It was a like a telepathic type crystal from Metabelius 3.
Okay.
And you could use it to do some mind-based things. And he ended up getting this on Metabelius 3. Or no, he was taking it back to Metabelius, something like that. But what I want to do is, well, first correct the sizing so that it is actually symmetrical and looks like shaped like it's supposed to be, and then make a mold of it and then cast it in blue, bluish resin, semi-transparent resin, and make these. So what we're looking to do is have each table be a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have like the first Doctor table, the second Doctor table. This would be the like the gifts for the guests at the third table.
Okay.
The Third Doctor's table.
Too bad you can't make it so it opens and then have like candy inside or something like that.
Well, it's, you know, for those of you who are listening to this audio wise, it's about 5 inches in width, and it looks like a hexagonal crystal. So with pointed ends on both sides. So it looks like somebody took a hexagonal object, stretched it out so it's 5 inches long, and then stuck it in like a pencil sharpener. Because the ends are faceted, but they are pointed, so they, you know, point outwards. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's one thing that we're working on, and I'm thinking that we'll have enough time that we can do, you know, like for the second Doctor, we would have like little penny whistles, like
some things are pretty obvious. You have to actually think about.
And the thought is, we're going to have people from like all over. If you are at the Third Doctor's table and you don't want this, but, you know, say you see somebody's got a penny whistle and you'd rather have that, then you could possibly trade. So it'd be a way to either you like what you got, or you can talk to other people and possibly make a trade and strike up a conversation. So
There you go.
So yeah, that's what we're doing.
That's this week's wedding update.
Oh wait, wedding. Oh, what?
No, not getting the echo.
It didn't fire.
What's going on? Maybe this has to do with the audio issues we had earlier in the show.
Wedding update. Oh, it's not doing.
Oh, hang on. We lost your audio.
Do you have it?
Nope.
Is it?
No.
Wait, is it back?
Yeah, it's back. Oh, no, it's intermittent. See, now I can't hear you.
Okay, is it back?
Yeah, it's back.
Okay. Well, that'll teach me to do that.
Oh well. We'll just have to pretend.
I guess.
Yeah.
I think my cat did something to this. Oh, there it is.
There it is. It just had to warm up.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do it.
Okay, hang on. Wedding update.
We'll do some producing on that and make a whole full-fledged like bumper. We'll make a bumper. All right. Sweet. Perfect.
This week on Wedding Update.
Hang on. I gotta make sure this is recording. We'll do some producing. Okay, good. All right. You're not planning on. I'll ask you after the show. I don't want to. It's kind of a personal thing. Okay. All right. Let's move on to your news story. So, Brad, fire away.
All right. We teased it at the front of the show here, but we have an article here from, there it is, geekwire.com, in which they pose the question, or it's a semi-statement, why these scientists argue that we are turning Earth into an alien planet.
What?
That's what I said. A trio of scientists has just laid out a new classification scheme for planets that would put Earth into a hybrid category, making the transition from a diverse photosynthetic-based biosphere to a world dominated by an energy-intensive civilization. The researchers' analysis meshes with the view that humanity's influence has spawned a new geological epoch known as the Anthropocene Age. Now, this isn't the first time scientists have tried to classify planetary realms based on theoretical scales. Perhaps the best known is the Kardashev scale, set up in 1964. That scale proposed 3 categories. Type 1 for civilizations that could manipulate all the energy resources reaching their home planet. Type 2 for civilizations capable of harnessing all the energy from their home star, not to be confused with home star runner. And type 3 for civilizations that can control the energy of their home galaxy. And this is where kind of the Dyson sphere sort of stems from. That would be a type 2 civilization because they could harness the power from their star.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds very dice. It sounded familiar.
Yep. By that measure, humanity is a 0 with some hope of reaching type 1 someday. The authors of the Anthropocene study, University of Rochester, Gophers? I don't know, they're Minnesota. Astrophysicist Adam Frank, University of Washington urban ecologist Marina Alberti, and Axel Kleiden.
Oh, I know Axel.
He's he was in Beverly Hills, right?
Yes.
He was a cop from Detroit.
Absolutely.
An earth scientist at the Max Planck Institute of Biogeochemistry proposed a scale that would take in a wider range of environments with or without life. So here it goes. Class 1, worlds with no atmosphere, such as Mercury or Earth's moon. Class 2, worlds with a thin atmosphere but no current life, such as Venus. Class 3, worlds with a thin biosphere and some biotic activity, but not enough to affect the environment as a whole. Now, early Mars might serve as an example for that, if life was present there billions of years ago. Class 4 worlds with a thick biosphere, sustained by photosynthetic activity with a strong effect on planetary energy flow. And finally, Class 5, worlds that are profoundly affected by the activity of an advanced energy-intensive species. Now, the researchers contend that Earth is in the transition between Class 4 and 5. So what difference does a classification system make? The authors say that the shift in perspective could help policymakers focus on managing the coevolution of humanity and its host planet. So for more on that, you can click the show notes and go to the geekwire.com story and get all the details.
You know, I wonder if Star Trek based their class planets, you know, class M, class whatever, I forget the rest of them, on a scale like that. It's not exactly the same, but it seems like that it's got the earmarks of Star Trek's classification for their planets.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's go to
Okay.
the documentation.
Here we go. Wikipedia. Class ABC, typically small young planets whose class depends on their age and solidity of their cores. Class D are planetoids like asteroids and some moons. Class EFG, proto-Earth sized planets whose class depends on their age and solidity of core. Class H appear to be a series of harsh desert worlds. Class I are gas giants, such as super gas giants. Class J are just regular class giants. Class K are barren worlds with no native life. Class L, planets are barely habitable worlds with primitive ecosystems. Class M, we know about. Class N, planets are like Venus, have a reducing environment and a barren and rocky with extremely high temperature surfaces causing thick atmospheres, blah, blah, blah. Class O and P covered almost completely with water or water ice in the case of Class P. Class Q, planets are with continually changing environments caused by peculiar orbits.
Okay.
Class R are that would be a rogue planetary body that does not orbit a star but drifts in space. Class S, a gas giant smaller than Class T, and the next larger size up from Class J. Class T, the largest class of gas giant. And then we jump up to Class Y. I like that we go A through T and then Y.
Well, it's like they're trying to fill all the alphabet, the whole alphabet. It's like
somewhat. Yeah, this is interesting. Okay, Class Y are referred to as demon worlds, where surface conditions do not fall into any other recognized category. Such worlds are usually hostile and lethal to humanoid life. If life develops on these worlds, they usually take on many bizarre forms like living rock or crystal. Let's see. Or incorporeal, dimensional, or energy-based states.
Okay.
Demon planets are Tholia, like the Tholians. And the Medusans would fall into life from those planets. And class X and Z reserved for other designations of demon planets.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's like they held those in reserve.
You
So there you go.
You really drill down. Be very specific with your planet type.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
All right. I think we
the more you know.
We covered a lot of territory with that episode or with that story. All right. Let's move on to the sightings segment. Sightings. And I am in charge this week. I'm in charge, Brad. You're not. Don't worry about it. All right.
Okay. I can handle that.
Okay, so every episode we run down an incident where somebody witnessed what may or may not be an extraterrestrial craft. Most the time, they're not, I'm guessing. Some of the times, they could be. And this definitely is in that some of the time it could be, could very well be. So the title of this is Crystal Clear Flying Saucer Captured on Camera by Father and Son. And I got this from express.co.uk, one of our favorite places, one of our favorite sources for all things extraterrestrial.
Heck yeah.
The two amazing pictures of the circular metallic-looking object were snapped by Roy and Ralph Keane when they were in their back garden in Kilsyth, Melbourne, Australia. The pair sent them to veteran British UFO investigator Philip Mantle to examine. I didn't include this in my part of the story, but the original source material said that this Philip Mantle is retiring, and this is like his last case that he worked on. A letter alongside the snaps read, "The darker picture was hurriedly taken at approximately 1 p.m. using an incorrect light setting during overcast weather conditions." So this guy knows his photography, sounds like. The other photo was taken at approximately 1:30. So this possible extraterrestrial craft was really hanging around for a while. After the camera setting had been adjusted to obtain a lighter picture, and by that time, the weather had greatly improved. They said that each time it was photographed, it appeared to move on a trajectory to their right as they looked up. The father and son added, almost immediately after each picture was taken, the flying object seemed to momentarily hover, then dip and move to the left. Eventually, it disappeared behind trees. An expert enhanced the picture to look for any evidence of a hoax, and his report said using extreme gamma adjustments and edge detection algorithms, no supporting wires or other linear edge features were found, so the object is not suspended by wire. As the cloud contrast is good, this would have been found. Oh, okay, so you'd be able to see it because comparing the object to the cloud in the background. I'm guessing that's what that means. So, Brad, as I always do with my picks or my my sightings, you want to take a look at it and be the second judge in this jury in this what's the word I'm looking for? This trial. This trial. The pictures are on trial, Brad, and you're the judge. What say you?
I'm going to share this with the folks at home.
Okay, so if you guys want to see this and you're listening to the podcast, just head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/galacticnetcasts, and you'll be able to see it.
Now, I'm assuming that you can see this. It's facing the right way.
Hang on one second.
I only ask because Manycam can do a flipping thing, and it.
Yes, it's the right way.
Okay, I just trying to get used to it. Okay, so looking at this, and I'm going to, if you are a YouTube viewer, you can check this out as I kind of try to zoom in a little bit here. I don't know if they're crystal based on these pictures, but they are something. It looks like normally when you think of a like a disc shaped UFO, it's got a thin sort of a brim, but this has a thicker brim to it, as it were, and it has a dome in the center, a little ways in from the edge of the object.
It looks like a sombrero.
It kind of, or if somebody took a bowler hat
Oh yeah,
and made the brim a bit thicker and just and threw it out there. The bottom looks flat from the lower image here of the two that we have. They're stacked on top of each other, which is why I say it's the lower image. It's it's a UFO. It's an unidentified flying object. There's no way to really say what it is. If it's alien, it could be. I mean, the thing that's kind of wrecked this for us a little bit is drones.
yeah.
And drones are cool. Drones are very useful, but now it's even harder. Ruling out CGI and using like After Effects and other programs like that you can alter video and add things to. But and I'm not saying that this looks like a drone, but we have no real sense of scale here. We can see a little bit of the edge of a tree, but like the rest of the area it's kind of foggy behind it, so we really don't have any other good judge of size.
Yeah.
So without that, it's really, really hard to say what it is. And I'm not saying that he's making this up either. He may have been bamboozled, or it could be legitimate. We really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, technology has made it really hard, right?
it really has. It really has. And what are you going to do?
All right. So take a look at the pictures. We'll have the link in the show notes. You can take a look at it or watch the video and look at it there. And you be the judge. Let us know what you think. 805-328-3966. Is it a real alien extraterrestrial craft or something entirely different? We don't know. Let us know. Okay. 10-4. Over and out. That's your sighting.
Good, buddy.
All right. I'm going to skip doing the Patreon read. We'll just use the one from last time because it was marvelous. We don't have to change it every single time. All right. Let's get on with our picks and warnings. All right. Time to talk about things that we have taken in. Let me start over again. Time to talk about things that we have watched, listened to, read, played, made, entertained our senses with that have something to do with aliens. I like the one that you had 2 episodes ago. It was My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, where it was just tangential. What's the word?
Tangential?
Yeah, it just barely made the cut when it comes to aliens. So we could be talking about anything, really. And let's find out what we are talking about this week. Brad, what do you got?
Well, Anessa and I got I wanted to say TiVo. It's a Roku TV. It's a 49-inch Roku TV, and it's really amazing.
Wait a second. Roku makes TVs now?
It's the company I can't remember the name of the company, but the TiVo, or I keep wanting to say TiVo, the Roku technology is built into the television.
Oh, it's not.
It's that.
It's not that brand that's Walmart sells. I have one upstairs. It's not.
No, it's we got it at Best Buy
Oh,
actually,
okay. Okay.
and if you give me just a second, I can look that up while I'm still talking about this. Um, oh no, I can't. My phone ran out of power. Okay, so anyway, uh, it's integrated. We've integrated Amazon Video, Amazon Prime Video into it. So we were looking for something to watch, and I was flipping through some stuff because we watch Netflix and Hulu all the time. So we figured we'd change it up. And I found something that I thought would be kind of interesting. And it's called Ancient Aliens and the New World Order. This was done by Jim Mars. And
Oh,
Jim Mars.
This is not the TV show Ancient Aliens.
No, it is not. It
Oh.
is not with the Greek gentleman with the crazy hair.
We're not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens, and not that.
Yes, it's not that guy. But Jim Mars actually has written a lot of interesting books, and a lot of them involve conspiracy theories. Like he did, like he's written a very famous JFK book, and the video, and we only watched maybe 10 minutes into it because that's about all we could stand. He's an older gentleman and he's sitting at his desk looking at his computer monitor while he's talking about conspiracy theories related to aliens, and he got into Nibiru, which is the ninth planet, and
Planet X.
Planet X and all that, and saying that whatever your political affiliation might be, he did not believe in global warming or climate change. Let's be accurate with that. But he believes, at least not that it's man-made. Okay. But he's willing to entertain the fact that by, 2062 or something like that, supposedly Nibiru, Planet X, is supposed to swing around because it orbits every 3,000 years. And what's happening right now is a result of Nibiru coming back. And I think at that point we kind of checked out.
I don't blame you.
And admittedly, there's no real true science to back up that claim. Yes, he used Sumerian clay tablets, but for science to be science, there needs to be a follow-up. And yes, right now there are astronomers who are seeing evidence that we probably do have a body of some sort, probably fairly large, that does orbit, but they have yet to find it, which, is all well and good. But to say definitively that that's what's happening when we can't even find it, if it's going to be here in 60 years, we should be seeing something. The sun should be reflecting off of it somewhere. And we don't have the data. We don't have the evidence to support that. So we just kind of checked out and stopped watching. So, yeah, I only watched 10 minutes of it, but my warning, because I've done a lot of picks, this is my warning. Unless you're into conspiracy theories and have no problem sitting through and listening to somebody else's conspiracy theory, I wasn't in the mood for it. Sometimes I am. I wasn't that night, and I checked out and we watched something else. We've actually been watching a Canadian sitcom that stopped being produced in 2009 called Corner Gas.
Oh yeah, Corner Gas.
Yeah, which is like a huge thing in Canada.
Yeah, it is. That and Degrassi. And or the high guys. The guys that smoke pot, they're I
Oh,
forget.
the Trailer Park Boys?
Trailer Park Boys, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Corner Gas is great, but we're doing Alien Invasion. So, yeah, Ancient Aliens and the New World Order. Unless you're into conspiracy theories, I really, we couldn't sit through it. We just couldn't. So, and that's on Amazon, and we'll have a link in the show notes if you want to check it out.
A
So,
link to hell since it's
if
a warning.
it is a warning. If you do have Amazon Prime, it is free to watch. If you do not have Amazon Prime, I don't know what it would cost to rent or whatever. But there you go.
All right. And flying saucers, how many of them?
-1.
-1. I think that's our first negative flying saucer rating. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Brad.
You're welcome.
I had one pick, but then I changed my mind. Well, I'll do the one that I was gonna do on the next episode. It was a movie about the Phoenix Lights. I was rummaging around here in the basement today looking for something Steph wanted, and I ran into Dave's book or Dave's box of nostalgia, basically what I'm going to call it. But it's some great stuff. It's kind of a peek into my past a little bit. The first thing I'm going to show you, and this is definitely something that you'll want to watch the YouTube video for. I'll describe this stuff, and Brad, you can jump in and describe it as best we can. But the first thing is my collection of Marvel comic books, the series based on Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. And this is reprints of the original Marvel comic book based on the movie from 1977. So I paid a full $1 for these back in probably 1977. And it's interesting because, as I recall, it gives you more of a story than the actual movie. Like it throws other things in that I don't know are part of canon anymore or not. But you've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 issues here. 6 issues. And if you're a Star Wars purist, there's a lot to nitpick about these, including the color of Luke's and Ben Kenobi's, Obi-Wan's lightsaber. They're both red, which I don't think they were in the movie. And I think this is one of the cases of, and they did this with Star Trek before it even hit the air. There was a comic book company publisher in, I think, Britain or somewhere in Europe that actually produced Star Trek comic books, and they look nothing like the series. The characters are the same names, and the ship kind of looks like the Enterprise, but that's where it stops. Everything else is like completely different because they didn't have a reference to go by. They just kind of guessed, best guessed, and this has the earmarks of that. Like Chewbacca looks like an ape. I gotta show this off to the camera. Brad.
Oh yeah.
Looks like hang on, let me yeah, there he is.
Yeah, it definitely looks more ape than Wookiee.
So individually, these would have cost you 35 cents each back in 1977.
Back in the day, yeah.
Another great thing about these is the ads. The ads are awesome. Like there's the prizes are cash, earn famous name, prizes are cash, like things that you could get. 2 ways to get started fast. There's a phone number that you call. This seems shady, but things that you could get would be like radio controlled race car, stereo record player. There's a guitar, tons of fun stuff. And then there's the Green Army Man.
Yeah.
And then there's ads for like Orca. I saw this movie. I think it was my grandfather's funeral, or no, it was somebody's funeral in the family. All the kids were getting restless, so we went to a movie, and this is what we saw was Orca. Then there's I think there's an ad for. Oh, hey, look! You want to look like this, Brad?
Some Charles Atlas stuff.
Mm-hmm. Then there's there's Spider-Man in here somewhere. Yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah, so that's the first thing I wanted to show on Show and Tell. The second thing was we move on from Star Wars to Star Trek, and this is the Star Trek giant poster book, Voyage 7, from March 1st, 1977. So there's James T. Kirk on the cover, and it's a whole story. And then it folds out into, or it folds. It's a poster, but then on the back of the poster is just like the regular magazine with all kinds of cool information about the series. But then you would, once you got done reading it, you would put it on your wall. And I think I actually had this on my wall growing up, the poster. So. And then one more thing, their Star Trek book and record set. So it was basically a comic book, but with a 45 record inside. So you would listen to it and follow along in the book. And I can't wait. I need to find what they call the thing that goes in the center. I think it's a spider.
Oh, yeah. The adapter.
Yeah, the adapter to play it on a regular record player. So I'm looking forward to, because I have great memories of, and this is another case of things just slightly wrong or slightly different from the series. Like Captain Kirk looks different. The bridge looks slightly like there's a control area, and I don't know what character this is. But Brad, tell me what you think. Hang on, where is it? Right there? No, hang on. Yeah, right there. Tell me what that looks like. He's standing in front of it looks like
an organ.
Organ, yes. But that's supposed to be part of the bridge.
It's like he's standing in front of a Wurlitzer about to give a performance.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, that's fun stuff. Anyways, that's from Dave's Box of Nostalgia, and we may be dipping back into that again. But you might be able to find these things on Amazon. So I will make an attempt to find the links and put those in the show notes. See if we can dig these up and buy newer versions of all these things. So there you go. That's my pick, and I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 because that was some awesome stuff from my childhood. And I'd love to relive all this stuff all over again. So
yeah, it's really fun to, and I've got a crap ton of comics down in the basement. So it's always fun to pop one of the older ones open and go, oh wow, that was a thing.
Yeah. Looking at the credits on these comic books, like maybe hang on a second. Like that Stan Lee presents Star Wars.
Yeah.
Excelsior. Stan Lee. Hey, I'm Stan Lee. Anyways, there you go. That's my pick. To review my pile of nostalgia, and Brad had that crappy documentary show. Yuck.
I just could not get into it.
Get that bad taste out of your mouth.